What is up, my YouTube friends? What is up? What is up? What is up? Oh my goodness, it has been a hot minute since I've been live here on YouTube. It's kind of crazy. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you guys tonight. For anyone, and there are quite a few now, I think there's 24 some people in here. For anyone who is not familiar with how I live stream or what I do on my live streams, I like to answer your questions for sure. And we try to have fun and do fun things. And of course, tonight I'm going to talk about the winner, the two winners actually, of my Loupedeck Live. And we're going to select those winners live. It's going to be completely random because I'm too much of a pussy to actually select them myself. I'd rather have it done randomly, so it's not my fault. So that's how we're going to do it. And I love the fact that Loupedeck was kind enough to give me a couple of these Loupedeck Lives to give away because they're awesome. They really, really, really are awesome. And whoever wins these is going to absolutely love them. But if you don't happen to win one, don't worry about it. They are available. There is a link in the description if you want to go ahead and get one. Also, if you're interested in all the animations and everything that I use on my live streams, the overlays and all that kind of stuff, there's a link to place it in the description as well. They do a lot of sponsorship stuff on my channel, and if you support them, I really do appreciate it. But you can see what it does. All the bumpers, all the intros, all the coming soons, all the waitings. And of course, a lot of this stuff that I do here is all done using templates and things like that that I get right off of Placeit. If you want to take your live stream to the next level, you should definitely check that link because it's friggin' awesome. I'm so excited to see so many new people in the house tonight. O'Brien Guitars is in the house. Vance McCullum, hello. Mr. Grizzali. Gazuli, thank you, honey. Galuzzi. See? I suck at names. Sorry. You're going to hear me mess up names all night tonight, and I apologize for that. Lose Killers, hello. T-Mad TV. T-Mad TV. Janassa, Aerial Filming. Hello, Gerald Retief from Belgium. The Netherlands is here. Woohoo! That's awesome. Miguel, hello. Hey, Miguel, how you doing? Colleen, Vance. And then we've got, of course, Michael T. Panetta from Tech Examine is hanging out in the house. My buddy Moss is in the house. Hey, look, Squirrel. Hello, Jelly Duck. Old friend of the show. In the house. I really do love it. Now, the format for this tonight, if you want to ask a question that pertains to live streaming, and it can pertain to any aspect of live streaming, be it, OBS, Streamlabs OBS, Restream IO, StreamYard, Melon, any of those things. If you want to know something about how to do any of those things, or creating overlays, or anything else, all you have to do to ask a question is at my wife, Monica. Go ahead and say something in the chat so people actually know who you are, honey. And I'm going to bring her up on screen right now so that you can see. We're going to flip over to the Monica question cam and get it kicked off. Hey, honey.
Hey,
honey.
It is the Monica question cam. When you at me with your questions, I will take them and read them to Michael because sometimes he misses them. The chat just goes crazy and he can't catch up. Or he's busy answering a question and you guys have another question. So just throw them out there into the chat. I will grab them and make sure that Michael gets them. I do want to say hi to Moss. The last comment you made about the sandwich channel, the subs would be out the door. That's classic. I loved it. So maybe one day I'll do that and I will start creating some sandwiches online for the world to see.
You're saying that the world needs sandwich-related content. So for those of you who don't get the sandwich reference, I live streamed every single day to a very specific audience a long time ago. And a lot of them may recognize some of the old jokes from that. The sandwich maker thing is because Monica is my wife. And of course, she was always the most wonderful human being, greatest person in the world. And of course, my sandwich maker. So that joke just carried over. And by the way, she is the greatest sandwich maker ever. But, you know... Yes. See, Jim would love the sandwich channel, so there you go. Sound and video don't match on the Monica cam. Shocking. Oh, we occasionally have these technical glitches because I'm running 5 cameras. So I'm going to ain't no bad joke like a dad joke. See, Hey, look, Squirrel, you're going to get along just fine here. I can promise you that. I'll try to match up her camera next time we flip to that. I recently discovered how to put lower thirds online with logos and without using any Premiere or editor program. It's nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, all you need is, you know, there is an app out there, actually. I think there's a plugin for OBS that will do lower thirds. It's pretty cool. Tech for Your Needs is in the house. How to make overlays for StreamYard. Ooh, super simple. I wouldn't actually make any overlays for StreamYard anymore. I'd probably get them right out of Placeit, but I can definitely show you how to make them. Let's see. Do we have a question? Did I just miss one?
You missed one here.
Let's see.
It was before Tech for Your Needs.
Before Tech for Your Needs.
Yes.
Is there? Okay. Well, let me take this question and we'll put it on the screen here. It's from DJP Dog, I believe. Is that the right one? All right. Well, let's take that and let me go here and we'll stick it on the screen there. There we go. Is there a way to automatically switch from one pre-recorded video to another in OBS? There is a plugin, and let me see if I can find it here. Because I can't remember the specific name of the plugin, but there is a plugin that you can basically schedule to go from one scene to another, and so and it will go at a specific timed interval. So if you know how long your first video is, it will automatically switch to the next scene, which can play the second video. I don't remember which one. It's not source switcher. Add sources that switches between. No, that's not the one. But basically, I know what it'll do is it'll play one scene for a specific period of time, and then it will roll to the next one. What, honey?
They're saying that mic doesn't sound correct. It sounds like it's from the camera.
Really? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what my microphone properties are. See, I had this all set up, and digital audio.
Musing of a man says boom.
There we go. How's that? Is that better? Hopefully that's better. That looks like it's better. It's not getting that microphone. I don't know. I don't know why it would have done that. Bizarre. Let's see. So the best thing I can tell you right now, since I don't know exactly what the name of the plugin is to go through over here. Let me flip over to my tutorial page here. Go ahead and go through over just do a search for OBS plugins and go in here and search for it. It's basically I think it's called like Scene Switcher. Let me see if I can do a search for that. I thought it was called something like Auto Scene Switcher or something like that. At one point, it was a fairly popular plugin in OBS, and I haven't seen a lot of people use it in a while. But that's definitely where you're going to find what you're looking for. Poo. It's not cooperating. Hopefully that answers your question. There's definitely a plugin for you that will do what you want it to do. All you have to do is kind of do a little bit of search. I think it was called Automatic Scene Switcher, and you should be able to find it in OBS plugins. And basically you can set it up so it will stay on one scene for a certain period of time. All you have to know, you just have to know how long your video is, and then it'll automatically switch over to the next one. So let me flip over to the Monica question cam and let's see if we have any more questions.
And we do have questions. They are coming in like crazy, which is awesome. You guys keep them coming. We do have one from Gerhard Retief. He says, when I use OBS in Teams, the lag is very bad and gets unusable when I add a video. How can I fix this?
Right. Can't find that actual question. Let me flip over to the overlay. So Gerhard, if you're having problems with your audio syncing, and he said, what applications is he using, hon? Okay. All right. So you're getting your audio, I assume, from OBS as well, meaning your video and audio are going from OBS into Teams using NDI. That's the way that you want to do it as, if you're trying to do it the right way. So let me go in here and let's just, I'm going to add a camera in here, which is probably going to make Monica's camera go completely nuts, but it is what it is. This is for you guys. This is for you guys. So here we go. We're going to add a camera in here. And if you ever wanted to see Monica's audio go even more out of sync, this is your chance. So we have this in here, and I don't have any audio device. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into properties here. We'll add an audio device into this. Not by using that, we'll use a custom audio device, and we'll go to the cam link here. So there we go. Now you could see that I have audio. If I clap, you could see there's like a delay in there if it's not peaking. Now obviously this screen that you're seeing right here might be a little bit different than the one you're seeing right up there, just because this one isn't actually being broadcast, at least not directly. It's indirect because it's a copy of a screen. Anyway, what I would do to sync up this audio before I send it out to Teams is I would go in here and go to Advanced Audio Properties, and I would go ahead and sync the audio up. And basically what I do is I just clap on screen so that I see, you know, that my hands actually line up with when the peak is in the microphone, and that's how I would do it. Now, if you're having a situation where your audio is significantly different than your video, possibly that you need to delay your video. And you can also do that. You go into Video Capture Device, then you go into Filters. I think it's an Audio Video Filters. And you go to Video Delay. And then what you do is you delay your video a certain number of moments or seconds in order for it to line up with this. So you do the same thing. I'll snap on screen or clap at my microphone, and I will just adjust my delay so that it works with what I'm seeing on the thing. And this could take some time. This is why when Monica's voice is kind of out of whack on the scenes, I don't generally tend to worry about it too much because it's a separate microphone source from the camera source. I don't have that problem because generally my main camera source is on the same microphone. So the best way to do this obviously is with that on the main microphone source. Let me switch over here. All right. So I know that's probably not exactly the easiest way to work around it. The easiest thing to do is to make sure that your microphone source is coming from the same camera that you're using to shoot it. Chances are, if you're using a webcam, this is not something that you want to do. You have to split the signals up. The other thing that generally tends to cause a lot of lag is just a computer that's not able to handle it. And in order to find out what is actually going on, let me go into my tutorial scene here again, and we'll move my camera up there again. And what I'm going to do is, if you want to find out what is actually causing problems on your streams and stuff, you want to go up into View, and you want to go to your Docs. You want to go to your Stats and bring your stats up, and you can see here in my stats, I'm 30 frames per second, average frame duration. I'm not missing any frames. I'm not dropping any frames. When you go live, if you're seeing all kinds of red in these areas right here, that means your computer is not keeping up, and it means whatever the encoder is doing is not syncing up your audio properly because it just doesn't have enough processing power. So there you go. That's the easiest way to fix that problem, is to reduce the size of your broadcast. And when I say that, I mean if you're trying to stream in 1080, reduce everything, all your assets to 720, and try it that way. That way your machine isn't working so hard to encode it. That's the easiest way to sync up your audio and that sort of stuff. If you find out that it is one of your statistical issues that you're having right here. Let's flip over to the Monica question cam, see if we've got another question. Hopefully that answered that one.
We do have another question or comment. Excuse me. This is from Moss, who says, has Michael met or talked with anyone who has used OBS on an M1 Apple Silicon Mac yet? If so, has it now got the power to stream live stream without issues?
This, Moss, is a fantastic question. I love this question, and I have not had the opportunity to test it yet, but there is a man in the chat. His name is Michael T. Panetta, Tech Examined. Ordered a MacBook Air, and that will have the M1 chip in it, and as soon as he gets it, he's already committed to letting me test it to make sure that, or to see if the encoding issues that are almost always a problem on Mac, see if those are resolved. So just so you know, in case if you're going to ask a question in the chat, make sure that you ask a question at Tech Examined or at Monica Firer so that they can record those questions and stick them in their log. I want to make sure I get to everyone, and the way that we identify that someone's asking a question is when they come to one of those two people. So just make sure that you're sending them there so we don't accidentally miss a question that you ask. Let's go over to the Monica question cam and see if we've got something else.
We do. There's actually comments coming in from Luis Killer 2926. It's a little bit vague, so I'm going to read it as he wrote it and see if you could pick out what his question is. He says, can you help on my YouTube videos in I am live on my YouTube show, am live stream is good for me to go live stream on my YouTube videos? Not sure what that means exactly. He then commented later on saying how to subscribe to put a paint on the YouTube video.
I think we've got a little bit of a language barrier going on here, Louise, because I don't understand the actual question that you're asking. If somebody understands what Louise is asking, can you put it in the chat for me so I can possibly interpret that? Because I would really love to be able to help you. I just don't understand what your actual question is.
Yeah, I know.
But we'll definitely get to it.
And I feel bad because I usually try to interpret them, and I
see, is we enjoy every day the next question?
Yes.
All right, well, I'm going to answer that one then. Thank you, honey. All right, so I'm going to go to this question here. Just give me a moment. I'll put it on screen. There we go. So we enjoy every day asks, when preparing to stream, do you go through each scene beforehand to make sure all the sources like MOVs have preloaded? Are there certain pre-stream steps that you take to prepare for a broadcast? We enjoy every day. I am not exactly what you would call Mr. Prepared. I'm the kind of person who doesn't really have too much of a problem troubleshooting during a live stream. With that being said, tonight, because I've been shooting outside of my studio for another channel for a couple of days, everything was removed. And because all my stuff is almost always in the studio, I don't have to spend a lot of time preparing for every live stream because it's all here. But because I had to remove everything from my studio and I put it back in yesterday, today Monica and I did spend an hour testing microphones, testing cameras, and so basically my process is this. I will go bring my computer up, I will bring up OBS, I will test this main sequence right here. Once I find that this sequence is set up, my microphone is working properly, any of the the audio stuff that I have is working properly, which I haven't actually used, but we've got some cool stuff. We've got a little soundboard stuff that I do use and have in here. So I test all that stuff. Then I move on to testing the Monica cam. And I get her in, we make sure her green screen looks good and the backgrounds are coming up. I check her microphone. We try to make sure that the audio is synced. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. The biggest problem I have is that I'm using 3 different cameras. And when you do that, your bus speed on your computer, no matter what you do, USBs only have so much speed. So occasionally we'll get some lag in her voice because the speed is what it is. So I don't spend a whole lot of time because it's a small part of the broadcast. I hope that her voice lines up, but sometimes it doesn't, and that's life. As long as mine lines up, I'm usually pretty okay with that. After that, I go through and I check to make sure that all my my widgets are working. And in order to do that, let me show you. We'll go over here to my tutorial screen. I'll show you how the widgets are set up. So we've got this, I believe, right here. If I go to my stream elements, I can go into my overlays. I can test my overlay, and you can see it's basically a rough outline of what we already have here. So I've got my stuff set up right here. I will mute my audio so that I can make sure that I'm actually hearing it from OBS, and then I will just click something like subscriber event and flip over into my my scene and see if it goes. And since you weren't able to actually see what that looks like, let me switch over so that you can see. So if I go in here, I'm going to do the same thing on my other screen here. So I'm going to click subscriber event, and you'll see it makes my little animation go. I want to hear and listen to make sure that I'm hearing the audio for my animation, so I know. And once I get to that point, then I'm pretty comfortable that everything works. I don't spend a lot of time going into scenes that just have cuts or videos or anything, because they're going to play correctly every single time. There's almost no risk that those aren't going to work. Really, the stuff that breaks or doesn't work, microphones, cameras, and audio stuff. So I just kind of try to check all that stuff out. Videos and all that stuff, I don't worry too much. That's always going to work pretty much the same way every time. So is on test 2008. Hold on, let me switch over to Monica. What is the next question? We have my beautiful, lovely sandwich maker. Okay, who asked this question? Okay, Judge. Let me see if I can find it so I can put it on the screen here. Okay, Judge. All right. So flip over here. And by the way, how's my audio sound when we're on the Monica question cam? Let me know in the comments, because we've had weird problems with it in the past. And I'm going to put this question up here on the screen.
No sound. Moss says I have no sound.
Well, tell him to turn his volume up.
I have no audio.
Moss has no audio, or you have no
I
audio?
have no audio.
Hold on, let's see. I see your audio. I can hear it in my headset, so go ahead and say hi, honey. Hopefully. I don't see any choppy. All right, so we've got K Judge's question. Let me answer this real quick, and then we'll deal with Monica's camera issue. Can you run Zoom through StreamYard, then to Facebook and YouTube? I'm not exactly sure why you would want to do this. So I'm guessing that you're using Zoom as a guest aggregator, and you're using that to go to. Okay, so here's how I would do it personally, if that was what you wanted to do. You've got your, let me go over to my tutorial screen here, and I think the choppy audio in Monica's thing is exactly what I was talking about before. It's the busing system for there's only so much speed you can get out of a USB bus, and we're hitting the limitations on that. So I will switch ports in a second. But, okay, so let's say we wanted to do the Zoom thing. Let me open up my Zoom here. Zoom. It's probably going to try to update, but if we're lucky, it won't. Okay, so we're in Zoom. Let's start a new meeting. I can send out, have invites, all that kind of happy poo. All right, so we can join with computer audio. I don't really care. This isn't going to have a camera. You know why it's not going to have a camera? Because I have my camera in here. So let's remove it. Boom, and there we go. Now we should be able to get a camera in our Zoom. Let's go video, and we'll use this one. There we go. Now we look at that. How sexy is that? Now we've got a camera in here. If you were to invite guests and stuff, they would all populate on this screen right here. So what I would do is go into OBS, and I would do.
Basically, we need Zoom because we need interactive and 50 people, and StreamYard has a limit to the number of guests.
Okay, so they're using it as basically a place to add guests. Okay, so then I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to go to. There's a couple of different ways that you could do this, but I think I would probably go with window capture. And to do this, I'm going to capture my Zoom meeting, which is right there. Capture method automatic, title, blah, blah, blah. And I might not actually have the permissions set up to do this. We shall see. Zoom meeting, and it's not showing it. Why is it not showing it? All right, so let's remove that. Remove. Yes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Zoom meeting on another monitor here. And I'm going to go and I am going to go to display. I'm going to go to display capture here. I'm going to capture this display. No, not that one. This one. There we go. We're going to capture that one. And so this is basically, and this monitor, by the way, that I'm capturing is not square. So if you were capturing a regular 1080 monitor, it would fill the screen. You get the point. Obviously you can have up to your 50 guests here. The next thing I would do, and let's go ahead and close out the stats window here. We don't need it. Don't need it, don't need it, don't need it. So I've got my Zoom window captured here, and I can have as many as 50 people in here or whatever. Then I'm going to go up to Tools, and I'm going to go to my NDI output settings. I'm going to select my main output as OBS. I'm not going to do this now because I'm live. I'm just letting you know. But I'm going to select my main output as OBS. You know what? I will do it. Why not? If this fails and the stream goes down, it'll be that much more fun. Then I'm going to go back into here, and I'm going to go to my StreamYard. And come on, we could do this. All right, maybe we can't do this. Yeah, we're definitely having bus problems. Because it is not typing, which is really annoying. All right. Hold on a second. Let me add another keyboard. See, this is why I have so much equipment here. Because you always have to be prepared for everything to go wrong. Alright. So now maybe this one will type. There we go. Alright, so I go into StreamYard. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, do I not have it set up on here? I guess I don't. Hold on, we're gonna move to my overlay screen quickly so I can get in here.
Hey Judge also says, can you use virtual camera instead of NDI, or is that a bad idea?
Yeah, hold on a second, I'll get to that.
Alright, I didn't know if that had anything to do with this.
It does. Oh, come on. Really? Now I have to wait to get the stupid code from my email. As soon as we get the code from email, then we will be in, and I will answer your questions as it pertains to why you would want to use NDI instead of the virtual input. But here we go. So now we're going back. StreamYard. We can do this. Really? Wow. This keyboard thing not working is really, really a pain in the butt. I'm just letting you know right now. It doesn't make any sense. The mouse is still working, but the keyboard, no bueno. All right, there we go. Enter Broadcast Studio. Okay, so now I'm entering the Broadcast Studio. Let me go back to my tutorial mode here. All right, so you can see we're in here. I've got my OBS set up. OBS is set up for NDI. We are collecting our zoom screen right here. And we are set up for NDI. Yeah, output. Okay, and then I'm going to go into Zoom. Or wait, no, we're going into StreamYard now. We're on that section. So let's open that up. And we're going to start our camera. Let's see here. And we're going to select our NewTek NDI, which I don't think I have my NewTek NDI running. So I've got to go down here, and we're going to run it. If my stream doesn't go down, this will be a freaking miracle. This is kind of fun. Because I don't know. It might go down. Here we go. So now we have NDI running. And we have OBS. There we go. So we're good. And we should be able to go in here. And this may not work just because I've got so many different things going. Now I could easily do the virtual camera too. I can go in here and go to Tools and go to, we'll turn off the NDI for now. And we'll go into Tools and we'll run the, I don't have the virtual camera installed on here. Now that I think about it, I don't know that this particular display version is updated. So let's just get the NDI to work. The reason why, by the way, that I use NDI... Oh, did that just die? No, okay. The reason why I use NDI instead of using the virtual camera is because NDI carries both the audio signal and the video signal so that you don't have two different inputs sending it, which gives you a much more likelihood that your audio is going to be completely out of sync. NDI carries both carriers, so you don't have to worry about it getting mixed up. Now let's see if... This just may not run because I'm running three cameras on here and the machine just doesn't want to do it. And I'm guessing that's probably what's going on because we're not getting any audio or anything. So I think I've got a lot of bad juju going on. But that's how I would do it. I would use the NDI into StreamYard, and then of course you just click Go Live. You go live to whatever platforms you want. The reason why I use NDI instead of using the virtual cable is because you're going to have then a different audio and video input going into, and you're already running from Zoom to OBS to StreamYard. You're already got a lot of stuff running, and you're just complicating it more by using a virtual cable with a virtual output, which is two separate ones. If you just use NDI, it's one that's going to have a better chance of having the proper audio sync, which is what you're really looking for. And I gotta kill this zoom because it's bogging my machine down. There we go. All right, so do we have any other questions? Let's see. I'm gonna go over to the Monica cam here, and I think I'm gonna play around with your microphone real quick. So go ahead and do your thing. Microphone. Woo, this is fun. All right, so I don't have your microphone. Let's go to properties. And we'll go down and try to get it set up here. That's not the right one. There we go.
So am I not?
Now your microphone is good.
My microphone is good. Can everybody hear me? Okay, are we ready for the next question?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, next question comes from Vance McCollum. What is the best platform for live streaming guests?
Oh, this is a super loaded question. I'm just going to let you know this is a very loaded question. In my opinion, the best live streaming platform is by far OBS. If you're just going to live stream. With that being said, when I live stream with OBS and I'm adding guests, I use another platform. And the platform that I use is usually either StreamYard or Melon. I will basically go, and let me hit the tutorial here. So what I will generally do is this. Let me get rid of this display capture here. So that's going to drive me nuts. What I will usually do is I will go in and I will select a browser source, or more often than not, I will have this screen that you see over here, and I will have another screen with StreamYard or Melon opened. I will add my guests in that screen. That's why you want two cameras, because you have to have one camera that's working in StreamYard or Melon so that your guests can see you there. And then I will basically add that screen to my live stream. And the way that I do that, I actually have, let me see if I can bring it up here. Here's my guest screen right here. And normally, if I was in something like StreamYard, you'll be able to see it. So let me see. Open it. Did I close my StreamYard? I did. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I have? All right, let me open it again. Oh, now my keyboard's working. Woohoo! It's the little things, guys. It's the little things. We'll go in here again. It's not gonna like this again, but we're gonna just enter the broadcast studio, and you can see here it says powered by StreamYard, blah 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 blah. What I'll do is I'll just take and I will crop this like this, and I will fill the screen with it. And when I add my guests in StreamYard, then you'll see everything that's in StreamYard. That's kind of how I do that. So hopefully that makes perfect sense. So I don't actually ever go live using StreamYard or Melon. The links are in the description if you want to check those out, by the way. I don't actually ever go live using those. But I do use their ability to add guests in order to get the audio and stuff in there. So basically, what I would be doing is capturing that screen right here on another monitor. I'd use display capture. So I capture it on another monitor. Let me go over here. So basically, I would be using display capture on here. I'm in the wrong position. Woohoo! All right, so up here, I would be using display capture to have StreamYard or Melon captured right here. I would take that screen and, I would add my guests in there using a second camera for myself, because StreamYard can't use a camera if it's already being used by OBS and that whole nine. And then what I would do is just capture that audio. And if you're not familiar with how to capture audio, you just go into audio input capture. And if you click OK, you just drop this down and you select the actual location where you're expecting to be able to hear the audio from the stream, from your guests. In my case, I am listening to the headphones. I would be using, I believe, which one is it? It's this audio input there. Yeah, it would be, wow. So my audio input is not actually being captured here because it's being used in OBS. So this is what the problem that you run into when you've got two instances of OBS running. But select the audio output or input right here that you're going to be using. More than likely it's going to be listed as headphones, and you're going to select that, and then you're going to be able to hear your guests in your headphones, and you can select your microphone directly in StreamYard or in Melon or in Restream.io or whatever you decide to use. So hopefully that answers your question in a really long-winded, roundabout sort of way to get to where we are. Let's go over to the Monica question cam, see if we've got anything new.
We do. Questions are still rolling in, which is wonderful. Okay, next question is from Janessa Aerial Filming, saying, how do we create a multiple picture-in-picture for a magic show we're producing? The participants will be joining on Zoom and will be using OBS for the production.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so I'm guessing that you're using OBS to produce everything with your camera, and then you're just broadcasting it through Zoom. So in theory, the only thing that you really have to do is broadcast through Zoom, which is, I have a couple of videos on that talk about how to use NDI. I actually did some videos on how to use the virtual cables as well, if that's the route that you'd rather take. But I'm assuming that you're not adding any of your guests or any of the people in Zoom into your actual physical broadcast. Because once you start to do that, it becomes very, very difficult to do. You have to basically do a screen capture, but Zoom doesn't give you any opportunities or options to capture the screen in a way that makes any kind of reasonable sense. So if you wanted to use someone from your audience or something like that, the best thing to do is send them an invite for another third-party communications app like Melon or StreamYard, and they could connect to that, and you use the screen share from that for their specific portion to add into the broadcast. So basically that program would be interacting with your OBS, and OBS is still just broadcasting out to Zoom where your audience is. In other words, you can't, it's really difficult because Zoom sucks to interact and use Zoom features or Zoom elements inside of OBS and then put it back into Zoom. It's almost impossible because Zoom just doesn't give you the ability to separate that stuff out. Theoretically, Skype does give you the ability to do that, but of course, Skype doesn't have all of the same conferencing features that Zoom does, which is of course why people use Zoom. But Zoom doesn't give you the ability to segment out guests to use them separately in a segment. So the best thing that you can do is share a link that you want a specific person to click, add them as a guest in another conferencing software or in something like StreamYard or a Restream or Melon, and then add that screen to your broadcast and interact with it in that way. Hopefully that makes sense. It also gives you the ability to separate out that person's audio and everything else. That's a pretty complicated setup that you're probably going to want to run. And honestly, something like that is going to just require you to try different things and practice and try different things. I have a pretty complicated setup that I use here, and that's why things go wrong all the time. But I've done this for so long that I can kind of try to fix it on the fly, and it makes it really easy. You're going to have to, with a complicated setup like the one you're using, especially if you're not going to use paid software, with somebody else running the show for you so you can just broadcast, it's going to just require a lot of practice and a lot of trial and error to get the kind of effects that you want, unfortunately. But that would be the way that I would do it. That would be the way that I would do it. Let's pop over to Monica's question cam and see what we got going on.
I do see there's a comment here from OnTest 2008. Says, I was muted asking your question. Can you just repop your question in there? Because I might have missed it. I have one, but I don't know if it's the same one that you're talking about. So if you could just put it in there, I'll make sure Michael gets it. All right. So now I have to go back here. Okay, the next question is from Mad TV saying, how can I make the quality cam perfect like yours? LOL. I have a lot of trouble dialing it in.
All right. So this camera right here, I'm assuming, is the one that you're asking about. And the reason why this camera looks so good is because it's a DSLR camera. It's a Sony a6500 with a very specific lens on it. It's not an expensive lens. I think this lens was like $40. It's basically a cheap kit lens. But here's why it looks so good. I'm going to be flat out with you guys. I tested and tested and tested and tested. I bought lights specifically to test. If you ask Michael T. Panetta in the chat, he'll tell you, I tried hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different configurations of everything. The settings on the camera, the settings on the lights, the setting on this light, the setting on this light. All of these things that I had to mess around with to get to the point where I had the camera looking just exactly the way I wanted it to. And if you're trying to get a look like this, where I'm in focus and the background is not in focus, you can't really do that on a webcam. It's just not possible. It's a depth of field trick that only works with a dedicated lens that you can adjust the focal length on. With that being said, I do have a video coming out that will tell you how you can fake this look. And I think that's pretty cool. Now, to fake this look, you still need the lighting. The lighting is the key. A webcam is never going to kind of have the clarity that you could see here, and it's almost kind of embarrassing because I'm not a young dude, and let's face it, I got lots of blemishes. So maybe it'd be better if my camera was less clear. But the kind of clarity that you get here is really difficult to get on a webcam. Now, I do also have a video coming out that tells you how you can use your GoPro as a webcam. And the GoPro, in my experience, can give you the kind of clarity that you see here. It still can't do the depth of field stuff that you see back here. But there are literally no camera effects on this camera at all. There's none. There's no filters, there's no nothing. And that's all the magic of just lighting your shots properly and using the right lenses. If you're trying to get this look on a DSLR, or if you're trying to get this look on a webcam, it's all in the lighting. It's as good as you're going to be able to get it, is to make the lighting as good as possible. You can, in fact, adjust certain aspects of your camera. Let's pop over to the tutorial screen. I'm going to add my camera in here again, and I'll show you a little bit about how to modify all that stuff. You're going to see right off the bat, the first thing you're going to notice is that when I do this, the lighting is completely different on this camera than it is on my main camera. Obviously, the depth of field is completely different. Let's see here. We want to fit to the screen. So you could see my camera down here. There's a heck of a lot of difference in the way that this is lit compared to the way that this is lit. Now, this camera that I'm using this is a webcam. It is probably a $20 webcam. I'm not even kidding. It's like the cheapest junk that you can get. And obviously this webcam is another 2 feet closer to me just to get almost the kind of scene that I want. So, you know, you got to kind of, you know, do this little, you got to do this little dance. And of course, right now my keyboard is not working again, so there's that. But, oh, really? Let's reset that. Your answer, your question was about.
He said he's good.
He's good?
I think he's good, yeah.
All right, reset transform. There we go. If you want to go in and actually modify how this looks, you can go into filters, and you can go into effect filters here and go to color correction. And there is ways to do this. Like you can see, I would definitely change my lighting if this was the only camera I had. Just so you know, the first thing I would do is adjust this lighting. But you can do it in here. I can change the saturation and the contrast and the brightness to get closer. We can get closer. Add a little less contrast so my blemishes don't show up so much. A little more or a little less saturation. So that's a much better image. And you might have to do that. There actually is a way that you can control these on the webcam as well. And that would be if you go into your properties on your thing here and you go into configure video. You can see I can adjust the exposure right here. Different cameras are going to have different controls. So there's a couple different ways that you can get your look closer to perfect, but I highly recommend that you go right away to the lights. Make sure you're lit the way that you want to look on camera and go from there. Go from there, because the lighting is everything. I can't believe that it took me as long as it took me to figure it out. But lighting is probably the most difficult part of cameras. It's just, it works differently than you think it would work. And so you really have to kind of work through lighting to get to the point where you are where you want to be. I can't believe we've got 45 awesome folks in the live stream. I just want to say thank you guys so much. I haven't live streamed since like the middle of September, and it's just, I kind of got burnt out. I'm putting out 3 or 4 pieces of content every single week that I'm trying to just make sure you guys enjoy. And, you know, so if there's specific types of content that you would like to see me doing, I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Let me know. I will do more of whatever you guys want to see. It's a heck of a lot easier to put together that content than it is to try to throw it together in a live stream. But I do love the fact that I get to live stream and answer your questions directly, at least as best I can, with the weird technical difficulties of running a live stream on this and then showing this, and it gets complicated, but it's fun. Let's go over to the Monica questions cam, see what else we got.
Yes, I'm going to put a comment in here. We do have a lot of questions in the queue, but I'm going to jump to On Test 2008 because I missed the question way back, so I'm going to do that one, and then I'm going to get back into the mix. And I also, Hun, I want to let you know that I'm pretty sure we got some donations that came in that you missed. So let me do On Test question, and then you can take it from there. All right. So On Test 2018 says, or 2008 says, when I window capture so I can put my live Facebook comments onto my stream, it doesn't update on OBS, but it does on my browser.
Window capture. Let's go over here to the overlay. So are you talking about you're using a live capture similar to the way that the chat will come up here? Or are you talking about using a window capture in a different way? Like, let me see here. I'm gonna flip over. Let me get to Monica's question about folks that one of the biggest problems that you have when you're flipping around to so many different scenes is that you can't see the super chats and that sort of stuff. So we had Gerhard with $4, I believe it is $5. Thank you so much, Gerhard. I really do appreciate it. I am so sorry that I actually missed it, but I do have a way that I can fix that, I believe. I can possibly force it to re-show that one. Let's see if I can. I'm going to go into my activity feed here, and there we go. Now we get to see the actual animation. Thank you, Gerhard. I do appreciate it. That's just awesome. And by the way, if you're interested, there actually is a donation button below as well. If you don't want to use Super Chat, I totally understand. But if you're interested in contributing to the stream, helping out with any of if you have a use for any of the sponsors that I have below, or if you want to donate, it's always appreciated. It definitely helps me keep going. And I'm going to have to ask Monica what that question was again because I'm a moron. So let's go back to Monica so she can repeat the question.
Yes, I actually found On Test, I found your first question when you submitted it. This one might be a little bit more clear. when I use window capture to copy my comments from Facebook, they don't refresh unless I minimize OBS and have the browser on the screen by itself. So then his follow-up was, when I window capture, I can put my live Facebook comments onto my stream. It doesn't update on OBS, but does on my browser. So I don't know if that helps you at all.
Okay. All right. So screen capture is a pain in the bootay. And that's a lot of the problem that you're running into. So what I want to do is I want to hopefully show you a better way. I'm going to come over here. Let's see. Let's go to my tutorial screen. 51 folks watching. Amazing. All right. So here we are. Instead of using the window capture, which let's say your window capture gets stuck. I'm gonna do that right now. Window capture. It doesn't really matter what window we're capturing at this point. So let's capture my GoPro test files. Sure, why not? All right. So here's my Loupedeck live setup, and you can see that is updating. But occasionally this will get stuck. This especially gets stuck when I'm using, oh, flash in your pan, thank you so much. you guys are awesome. It especially gets stuck if you you know, especially if you do browser source or something like that. But if you go into properties, you know, you can adjust the client area and all that kind of stuff. And you can see that kind of resets it when you do that. This is another thing that happens a lot when you use a browser source. So let's say, let's remove that, because I have a funny feeling it sounds like what you're doing is kind of the same sort of weird thing that happens when you're using a browser source. So let's see if I can get this to, let's see, I don't need to worry about the sizes so much right now, but I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And there we go. Now we got a browser source in there. And if I scroll around or do something on that browser source, you can see it doesn't move at all. It's not doing anything. But if I go down here and I right click and I go to, let's see, if I go to properties, I can refresh the cache and it'll update based on where I'm at and what I'm doing. And honestly, my best advice for you is to get a second monitor and put the thing you're trying to capture on the second monitor, because window capture and browser capture are not reliable ways to capture anything on your screen. I know it's a pain in the butt and it's also expensive, but if streaming long-term and doing tutorials or something like that is what you want to do, you want to stay away from window capture, especially on a Mac, because you're going to get flickering and all that kind of stuff, and just get a second monitor and do a display capture. And in order to do a display capture, all I have to do is, and just in case you don't know, on this particular thing I have 3 displays that I work with. So I will show you exactly what they are. So this display here is the actual one. You can see it's all like inceptioned out, and that is because that is the monitor that I'm doing all the tutorial stuff on. This display right here is a small display. This, you can see, it's not very large at all. And then this one here is the one that I'm actually running my live stream on. You can see the green bar down here at the bottom telling me all the information and the fact that I've had 85 drop frames, which is a little frustrating because you're going to drop frames, but it shouldn't. So I can use the display capture. I can set it up any way I want. But then if I go up onto that display, look, it's smooth, it's seamless, it's no problems, it's always going to update, you're never going to have any problems. Window capture and browser source are going to give you problems just because the machine has to process those things. When you do a display capture, it doesn't really have to process anything. It's just basically mirroring another display. It just makes it so much easier. It's probably not the answer that you were looking for, but there's no easy way to fix it because it's just kind of a wonky aspect of the way that it works, unfortunately. Now, from what I understand, game capture works a little better than the other two, And, you know, that might be, if you're playing games, that's the way to go. But other than that, display capture is really going to be the most reliable way. I'm going to flip back over to my overlay here for a second. And what I want to do is make sure that we see some of the awesome tips that came in, because now we've got a whole bunch. We got this one here from Flash in Your Pan. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. His comment is, it's been a while, Michael. I try to catch what I can. Most of the time I'm able to catch your live streams. Thank you, Michael and Monica. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. You guys have no idea how much you watching what we do and talking about it and commenting on it makes a difference in our life. It really, really does. Every time that you enjoy what we're doing, or you find it useful and helpful and you share it out with other people, or you leave a comment on the video, that helps other people find it, and it helps to make sure that we can keep doing this, because the more people can find it, the better off it is. So thank you so much. Then we have this awesome one here. Come on, go ahead and play it. There we go. Woo, from Malik. Thank you so much, Malik Hadidi. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I think we're gonna get Malik's a second time. There we did. And I can turn that other thing off because it's blocking your name. That's not right. That's not right at all. How could we do that? Oh, there we go. See, and then we've got this one here from Mr. Anonymous. Thank you so much for the $10. I really do appreciate it. And he says, great work, Michael. Great team of M&M. Yes, every great man, which is not what I am, but I'm made a lot better because I have an epic sandwich maker. I'm just telling you that right now. She's just the best, the love of my life. Here we go. Let's pop over to the Monica question cam. Thank you guys so much for your support of the show. I really do appreciate it. And by the way, we are going to give away 2 of these puppies in a little while. We are definitely going to do that. It is going to happen. I'm really excited. Whoever gets to take one of these home is absolutely going to love it. Absolutely going to love it. Let's switch over to the Monica question cam here.
I want to thank everyone too for the donations, and we really do appreciate it, like Michael said. So thank you very much for your support. Next question comes from Vermont Paint, saying, how can I get a Logitech 922 to look as clean as when I use my VHS camcorder when I'm live? It's never as clear.
Okay. So we kind of... Oh, I'm so stupid sometimes. We kind of went over this a little bit in a previous question. But 9 times out of 10, well, first of all, webcams just have these little tiny sensors. Your Handycam or whatever has a nice full-size sensor with a full-size lens. Your webcam just can't compete with that. It can't produce those kind of images. But if you want, is people agreeing with me that I'm a moron? I know. If you really want to have that same kind of imaging, you're going to have to just use a regular camera. Holy mackerel. Oh, on test 2008. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. If you want to have the same kind of visuals for your live stream, you're going to have to use a DSLR or use your Handycam, but you can get closer with good lighting. Get good lighting, fix your lighting. It will get you closer than you think. Once you get your good lighting and all that stuff, you can, let me see if I can go in here. Let me put my video camera up here again. So I'll show you this one more time. All right, so this is literally a $10 webcam over here on my tutorial page. Seriously, this webcam cost about $10. But it is what it is. It's indicative of other webcams you're going to find out there. I go into filters for this webcam. I click the plus. I go to color correction, and I can get it. I should adjust the lights first. That's what I should be doing. But my lights are set up for my other camera, so I can turn down the brightness. I can adjust my contrast a little bit so I don't look so old and wrinkly, which it is what it is. And then I can adjust my saturation, so my color, and this is the kind of adjustment that you would make on anything. I can adjust the hue. Look at that. I look really healthy there. But this is how you would adjust. Oh, I can go orange. Nice. Now this is how you would adjust to make it a little better. But the graininess and the blurriness, it's hard to get rid of. If you notice, this is like in 720 mode. So if I stretch this out, it's, you know, it's not good. It's not good. It'll get better with lighting and a little bit of color correction. But in order to get a really, really good shot like what you see in my camera down there, you're going to need to use your handy cam or a full censored camera. It just, you know, it just looks better. It just looks good. Like, it looks as good as it can. I mean, it's obviously dependent upon the person on the screen, but otherwise the camera looks pretty good. Let's go over and hopefully that answers your question. I'm sorry. There's no magic way to make your Logitech look quite as good, but those are some tricks that you can use to make it look better. And the first one should be definitely getting your lighting dialed in the way you want it. And that could take hours to play around with it, but you'll get there. Here's the Monica question.
Look at your chat. You got another donation, and
I did. All right, well, let's flip over to my overlay. And I'm gonna go in here. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness. So we got. I don't know if we saw this one right here. I want to on tests. Thank you so much. I did. We did see that one. Yep. And then we got this T-Mad TV. If it's gonna run, are we gonna run? There we go. There we go. Oh, we're on fire now. This stage is gonna set completely on fire. And T-Mad TV sent $1.49. Thank you so much. Here it goes again. Woohoo!
You can read the comment from Janessa.
Janessa, let me. Is it where? Oh my gosh, it's just going now. Woohoo! We are totally on fire. Janessa. Everything I've learned on live stream building, the extension to my business is down to your amazing tutorials. Thank you so much for being my teacher. Donation is on its way after the show. Janessa, thank you so much. That is awesome. I really do appreciate it. Do we have a lot of other questions yet?
Yeah.
We do? All right, well, let's flip back to the questions. How many we got, Pumpkin? Oh, well, let's just get to it.
Let's just get to it. We have another one from T-Mad TV, which you may have answered previously, but when I'm compiling questions, I can't listen and compile at the same time. And so I will ask the question, and then if he's already answered it, he can say that, we can move on. Okay, so this is from T-Mad TV saying, how can I add in a comment from the live chat onto the screen? I see a lot of people use this feature.
Woohoo! All right. Wow, I did it again. All right. There we go. So you'll notice that I can do this. There I do like that. The easiest way to do this is to be using an application like StreamYard or something like that to stream with, and you just click a button. Excuse me. Holy mackerel. Then you just click a button and it adds it onto the screen. Now, I don't do that. I use a plugin called Scrab. Let me see if I can find it here. We'll jump over to our tutorials. Oh man, I just got all gassy for some reason. I'm sorry about that. When you talk, see, I don't. It's COVID. I don't leave the house. I don't talk to people. I don't see people. I don't, I film a video every day or two, and that's all my talking. So when I talk like this for so long, I do apologize. That was really yucky. So, Scrab, this is the one I use right here. Basically, you program in a button, and you just click that button on your Loupedeck or your Elgato or your keyboard, and it will bring up a thing, and you just draw a square around the chat that you want to select, and then it will automatically put it on the screen. That's what I'm using. I did a video on how to do it. I believe I don't know. I did a video on how to actually do it. If you look in my live streaming tutorials thing, maybe do a search for screen capture or chat on screen or something like that. It should show up. If you can't find that exact video that shows you exactly how to do it, just message me on Twitter or something like that, and I will absolutely show you. I will find the video for you. Man, 47 folks still hanging out. And we got another donation from Moss. Look at that. Thank you, Moss. I do appreciate it. And Janessa just gave us a donation too. Let me go and see what these say. To buy a sandwich maker. Oh, Monica. That's awesome. And then Moss. Oh, that was Moss. He wants you to buy a sandwich maker.
Yes, he does.
Thank you, Moss. I appreciate it. Thank you, Janessa. You guys are just amazingly kind. I really do appreciate it. This is awesome. This is really fantastic. It's definitely exciting to be able to live stream. We haven't done this since September. And this is epic. This is really cool. And I'm even more excited to be able to give away a couple of these things. I can't wait. I can't wait. Let's go ahead and check out the Monica question cam, see what we got going on now.
Okay, next question comes from Professor Mark Cashin. I'm sorry. Apologize for that. I'm using OBS into Zoom over NDI, but when I try to capture the Zoom screen back on the OBS to record the meeting in OBS, I get a white screen in OBS. Any idea what I could do?
Okay. So this is kind of exactly what you were just seeing with what I was doing before. And it gets to the point where you're trying to use a camera that's already being used. Cucumber sandwiches from Professor Mark Cashin. You're trying to use a camera that's already being used. So in other words, you're broadcasting into OBS, or you're using OBS to broadcast into Zoom, and then you're trying to capture Zoom to record in OBS, and it's just giving you the white screen. Now this could be, especially if you're using a Mac, a permissions issue, where you don't have permissions set up to physically capture that screen right. It could also be an issue, and I left comments about this issue that was showing up all the time. Mac changed the way that they do their signed apps, and when they did, applications like Teams and Google Meet and Zoom did not update their software. So what happens is it goes to capture and it doesn't look like it has the ability to capture. So what you have to do is run some code in Xcode to unsign the Zoom application so that it works. And I left some comments in the videos about going Zoom to or OBS to Zoom, about how to make those applications unsigned. And here's the thing, every time you go to reinstall it, it's gonna sign it again anyways, and then you have to run the code again, but it works. So that might be one of the problems, but I also suspect that the thing is you're doing kind of a loopback feed, and I think personally that's probably why you're getting the problem. Your best bet would be to output from OBS to Zoom and then use Zoom to record the live broadcast. And then that shouldn't be a problem, because right now it sounds like you're going out from OBS to Zoom and then you're capturing the Zoom again to record it in OBS. I'm not sure that's going to work, and if it does, it's going to have all kinds of weird encoding issues. So that I think is probably what your problem is. Your best bet is absolutely to go ahead and just record it in Zoom. Or if you're broadcasting to YouTube or something like that, let YouTube videos run and then just download it. Oh man, we've got so many people in here I haven't said hello to. We got Julio Morales, Ace is in the house, meditation and yoga music for relaxation, which by the way, sounds frickin' epic. I'm gonna go through here and see if there's I wanna see who else is in here. Colleen McTeague, Dean Strevel, oh man, DJ Fernando. Oh my goodness, so many folks, so many folks. Space Today, Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. There's probably folks I missed or didn't say hi to. I do appreciate it. Let's pop over to the Monica question cam. Hopefully that answered your question. Hey, Bob. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. I do appreciate it. All right, Monica, what you got?
All right.
Hurry before you get to the top.
I know.
We're going to go over.
I know. Are we ready? We do have the next question is from Colleen McTeague, which that's a great name, by the way. Colleen McTeague. I love that. Saying, what is the OBS virtual camera and how would you use it?
All right. So Monica asked a goofy question because...
I'm ready! I'm ready! I'm ready! I'm ready! I'm ready! I'm ready!
And she doesn't know what I'm talking about because she can't hear it. So that makes it funny because she's going to have to listen to it later to find out what was going on just right there. So this was Cheryl McTeague. Is that right? Colleen. I was so close. And now I was doing that and I lost the question.
Do you want me to ask it again?
Yeah, can you ask it again?
Yes. Do you need me to ask it again? Okay, I'll ask it again. What is the OBS virtual camera and how would you use it?
Yes. Okay, so OBS virtual camera is essentially the same thing as NDI. Basically what it allows you to do is send out the OBS signal as if it was a camera, like a webcam or your DSLR or whatever else you're using. People use this feature to create dynamic broadcasts in OBS and then send it to their Zoom broadcast or their StreamYard broadcast or their Melon broadcast. So it allows you to create really awesome broadcasts in OBS using all of OBS's cool features and then send them out to another software that's going to actually send it to, you know, Zoom or to, the most common uses for this are Zoom or Google Meet or Teams for like an educator who wants to put together a really nice broadcast in OBS and have everything all set up to run without a hitch. And then they just send it directly to Zoom or to Teams or to Meet to run. So they can make it a lot more dynamic. They can use multiple scenes and that sort of stuff. So it's basically turning your OBS into a camera source. And it does exactly the same thing as NDI, except for NDI will take your audio and your camera and combine it and send it out. Whereas if you use the virtual camera, you also have to use a separate source for the audio as well, which I think is more complicated, which is why I generally tend to avoid that. All right, let's pop over to the Monica question cam. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, next question is from Ridwan Whitehead. It's asking, is it possible to have Zoom and Skype be connected in terms of audio, meaning the participants in different platforms can speak to each other? Can OBS be used to also include the host?
Who asked the question?
This would be from Ridwan Whitehead.
All right, I want to see if I can find this here.
This would have been way back. We are way behind.
All right. Well, let me flip over and I want you to read the question while I'm thinking about it here again.
Okay. Is it possible to have Zoom and Skype be connected in terms of audio, meaning the participants in different platforms can speak to each other? And can OBS be used to also include the host?
Okay. So is it possible to have Zoom and Skype audio linked to one another? The easy, long, and short of it is probably not, because it would definitely create a massive feedback loop in your machine. So when you were broadcasting to, say, YouTube or a platform like that, you're going to just have a big audio feedback loop because of the way that you would have to set that up. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would be very, very difficult, very, very difficult to set that up. And the only way to really do it would be to test a lot of it. And thank you, Mark. Mark says, my question is about Loupedeck Live. Any idea why it will open some programs and not others using the custom actions to run the programs? I haven't done a lot of custom run action programs, but it could very well be that it doesn't have the framework to actually use those programs once it opens or runs it. Or it could be that somehow when you set up the run command, it's not accessing it as a administrator. I'm assuming that you're using Windows. See what I did there? I'm assuming that you're using Windows, so it's not. It may not have taken the administrative privileges to run it, or it may not have access, or it's possible that the run executable that you're using is not actually the correct run executable for the program that you're trying to access, Mark. Hopefully that answers your question, but if you want to specify what application you're trying to run with it, I might be able to help you out or show you. I've had some that are weird because my machine is set up to do demos and displays on two. I have two different applications running at the same time that are literally the same application but from two different things. So I've got lots of experience trying to make things like that work. I'm relatively positive that I can help you out. Ridwan Whitehead, thank you for the subscribe. And Mike just tipped $6.06. Thank you for all the info from the Netherlands. Well, thank you, Mike. I do appreciate it. And Mark, thank you also so much for the super chat. I hope that answers your question. If it does not answer your question and you want to try to dive a little deeper on that one, since it's very specific, don't hesitate to message me on Twitter, and all that stuff is right down here to get to my access for that. You can directly message me. I try to work through it as best I can. Let's hop over to the Monica question cam, see what we got going on here.
Another question we enjoy every day is asking, are there any known issues with using Google Meets for guests since Hangouts is being phased out?
No. In fact, I love Google Meets. It's by far the easiest thing that you can do using OBS to broadcast out to. If you're using a Mac, it would be the first one that I would try. It runs basically on the web using a website. It's awesome. I have a video coming out that compares Zoom to Google to the Google Meet program and talks about the differences and how to use them. From a usability perspective, there honestly is no perspective. Now, just keep in mind that if you're using the virtual output or the NDI output, when you get it on Google Meet, it's going to be mirrored. It's going to be backwards. That is not how your audience is going to see it. Your audience is going to see it normal. So in order to not be confused, just look at your OBS screen and not your Google Meet screen, and you will be just fine. But it broadcasts really easily, especially for people using older Macs or something like that. I highly recommend it. It's a really good program. Let's go and see what else we got.
Fighting Fit Films Productions asks, how do you get a Sony to play on iMac?
Okay, so it obviously depends on which Sony you're using. But Sony's, especially newer ones, actually have software that can be used as a webcam. I don't use that software. I actually use a capture card. That capture card is called a Cam Link. It's from Elgato. I think I did a video on that, or I have a video upcoming on that in the next week or so. But if you want to check it out, it's called the Elgato Cam Link. There are actually some other versions, but it's about $129. You plug it into your Sony camera, assuming that your Sony has the HDMI outputs, and then you just plug that into your computer through the USB, and voila, this is what you get. Hopefully better looking than this package, but you in this package, that's what you're going to see on your screen. So that's how you do it. But if you look, if you do a search for Sony webcam, there are certain models of the Sony camera that you can use directly as a webcam without any capture card. Personally, I think you're going to get better quality video and audio using it with the capture card. But if you just want to try it, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Check and see which ones of those are going to work for you. Let's go over to the question cam, see what we got going on.
Next question comes from YoungPops05 saying, how do you get more than one person on your stream? Is it the same way as one person, but add more?
Yes. Who is the questioner?
It's YoungPops05.
Young Pops. Yes, I can add if I'm using the my normal personal method for adding guests, which is to basically capture the screen for which is basically to capture the display screen from StreamYard or Melon or something like that. All you have to do is send out more invites. They join StreamYard or Melon, and StreamYard or Melon will just automatically add them right into your screen. Both StreamYard and Melon are capable of adding, I believe, up to 10 guests, which is freaking epic. And all you're doing is capturing that display and audio and putting it in OBS. So it makes it so much easier. Now, I do have other videos out there that tell you how to use display capture to bring in other applications like Zoom and like Skype and things like that. And those are great. But those programs are awesome, trust me. Especially Skype, if you use NDI and you bring in the individual sources, you can literally have 20 people on your Skype and have individual sources with individual audio. But it is really complicated. So if you're just trying to boil it down to an easy live stream that's manageable, capturing the screen for Melon or StreamYard is by far the best way. And there are links in the description. If you're not familiar with what StreamYard or Melon is, you can check those out. I also have videos. If you do a search in my if you just go into my playlists, there is a couple of different ones about adding guests using those functions and features. There's a couple of different playlists specifically about adding guests, or if you just go to the main one about tools and tips and tricks and all that stuff for live streaming, you're going to find probably 10 different videos on how to add guests to your live stream in different ways. For me, the easiest one is to capture the display from Melon or Restream or StreamYard or something like that. And you can add literally up to 10 guests on every one of those platforms. If you need more than that, then you're probably working with Zoom. But the problem with using Zoom and capturing Zoom is that you have no control whatsoever about the layout that Zoom decides to give you. It's just whatever Zoom decides to give you. And if you're trying to do a professional live stream where every person is where they're supposed to be and you can control that, that gets to be a problem. So just keep that in mind. And let's go back to Monica.
We have a question. Ghost Pepper wants to know how to do an OBS stream.
Ghost Pepper. Well, Ghost Pepper, you can easily do an OBS stream. I'm going to share with you let me see here. How long ago did I do that? I have a video coming out very, very soon that's just the super mega basics of live streaming. And let me see. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here. And if you want to know how to live stream, just the basics, the bare minimum that you need to know to just go live with OBS, there you go. There you go. That'll get you up and going live, just knowing enough to be dangerous in about 10 minutes. So hopefully that'll help you out. Let's go back. Let's see. Let's try that one. Woo, that looks like a nice beach.
Oh, does that mean it's me?
It does.
Tis I. Next question is from Mark Hart asking a Loupedeck question. Any ideas why it will open some programs and not others? Loupedeck Live.
Right, now I answered that question.
Okay, sorry, whoops, retract that. Next question is from Space Today saying, how do you full screen share in StreamYard?
Full screen share. All right, let's get a little bit of an echo there when I'm on yours, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was before. Let me see here. Live stream, StreamYard. I'm not sure what the question so how do you full screen share using StreamYard? That was the question?
How do you full screen share in StreamYard?
All right. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to come over here to the tutorial, and you can see here we've got our StreamYard, And if I wanted to share out an application, click to add your video. Yeah, all right, there we go. Now I'm in. Woohoo! Yeah, I can go to screen share right here, and I can just click and share whichever screen I want. So there we go. Boom. I just add that to the thing, and boom, we've got a full screen share. I can remove, or I can go with a full screen layout. Now, the reason why this is not full screen is because the monitor is not full screen. I just want you to know that. If this was a normal monitor that I was putting this on right now, it would fill the entire screen. But it is not filling the entire screen because it's not a normal monitor. It's a square monitor. It's mega old. But that is how you would share out your screens in StreamYard. I hope you love it. I hope that helps. All right, let's go back to... Ooh, I got lost there. Let's go back to the Monica question cam.
Next question is from Tech for Your Needs. Hello.
Hello.
Logitech C922X Pro Stream Webcam. Can you add a LUT to make it better?
Okay. Actually, this is a question that I don't actually get very often, so it's really awesome. You can add a LUT to any camera. Any camera. For those of you who don't know what a LUT is a lookup table. Let me go over here to my tutorial screen once again. Basically, it is a way to add a stylized view to the screen. You can see up here, I have my webcam loaded in. And if I wanted to add a LUT to it, I just go into filters, and you can see I've already got color correction on. So you want to do that before you apply any LUT. Then you just go into apply LUT. You can create these on your own, of course, or you can use one of the ones that's loaded in here. So teals, oranges, and highs. Basically, if I load that in, you can see it gives us a different tint. And I can adjust the level of the LUT that I want to use. Let's go with the red isolated. Obviously, you can see that kind of makes it turns up the reds in my background and makes everything else completely desaturated. That's what a lookup table does. I can scale this all the way up so that everything is completely desaturated except for the reds. That's pretty cool. And then I can adjust this down and up and down and up, and you can apply your LUTs however you want. And it's a super cool feature. A lot of people don't actually know about this. But if the question is, can I add a LUT to a specific camera? The answer to that is, if you can add that camera into OBS, then yes, you can add a LUT to it as well. Hopefully that answers your question, Tech for Your Needs, and shows you how to do it. Now, how do you create a LUT? Well, that is something that I've been working with Mr. Jay Lippman on, setting up a video to show how to do that, how to create a LUT in OBS. And eventually we'll get around to creating a video for it. But if that is something that you want to see, if you want to see how to create a LUT or a lookup table specific to your live stream, so that you can make it look however you want to make it look, you could do what I just did and isolate the reds or whatever. Let me know in the comments of this video or any other video. Hey, I want to see how you create lookup tables, and we'll get to it. Because I understand most of it, but I think it's something I'll have to partner up with Jay Lippman on to really help to make sure that it's good and it makes sense. Because he knows that stuff a lot better than I do. So let's pop over and see if we got any other questions.
We do have questions. Ace asks, says, love your videos, keep them coming. I'm still a little confused about how to begin with nested scenes. What would you say the main positive of using nested scenes is? Is it keeping complexity down?
Okay, this is an awesome question. For those of you who don't understand what a nested scene is, every time I switch over to the Monica question cam, you can see we can get a different background and all that stuff. But I don't have to add Monica's camera and green screen background and my camera in every time. And the reason why we don't have to do that is because we created Monica's camera and Monica's microphone and my microphone and the green screen in one scene. And then what we do is we use that as a nested scene. And what we do is we load in all the backgrounds on all the other scenes, and then we just add that camera in there. So we don't have to recreate the camera and all the complexity of that on every one of those scenes. Instead, all that's in those scenes is the background and the nested scene from Monica's camera. So yes, absolutely, the most exciting thing about creating nested scenes is it really reduces the complexity. All I had to do instead of adding the background and the camera and then doing the chroma to use the green screen and then adding a microphone and adding my microphone and then adjusting those microphones so they're correct and adjusting her color so it's correct. I don't have to do that in every scene. I only have to do that in one scene. Then I just add the background to a new scene and I add the camera to a new scene and I'm done. So it's a beautiful thing. I don't ever have to play around with the settings in any of those background scenes. I just have to go right to the original source nested scene and I can change all that stuff up and it will change automatically in all those other scenes. Hopefully, Ace, that explains it to you, and hopefully other folks out there kind of understand where that is. I can't believe we still have 48 amazing folks still on the live stream. It's freaking awesome. Let's go over to the Monica Question Cam.
I just want to add a Professor Mark Cashin just asked, he says, wow, great info on the LUTs. Where can we get them?
Okay, so the LUTs that I just showed you actually come loaded up directly with OBS. So those were ones that were already created. If you go out into the OBS community, you can probably find plenty of websites or locations out there with other folks that have created LUTs that you can add and use in your OBS. But the ones that I showed you today are the ones that just come packaged with OBS. So they're already there. You can test them out and play with them yourself. Uh-oh, what do we got here? Gemma. Thank you, Gemma. I do appreciate it. Let's see if Gemma left a note for us with that. It's been quite some time since we've seen Gemma. Hi, Michael. So good to see you and Monica. Well, thank you, Gemma. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's flip over, and I'm going to say how many questions. Where we at?
We have plenty more questions to go.
Oh, let's roll then.
All right. DJ Fernando G says, I have been using OBS Studio for my podcast called DJ to DJ. Today I had an interview and my microphone was crackling. What could cause this?
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Sometimes I just can't get the right button. I'm a moron. Okay, so what would cause crackling on your microphone? The first thing that would cause crackling on the microphone, you could see if I bump my table, everything is mounted to it. So if I had any loose connection in my camera or the microphone wire, that could cause crackling in the microphone. The other thing that could cause crackling in a microphone, let me see if I could bring up my tutorial page here real quick. And I don't actually have a microphone on there, so I'm going to load it up. I'm going to load it up so I can show you the microphone here. And I might not be able to do that, or if I do it. All right, so you can see I have it turned all the way up. If your microphone is peaking, if it's going into the red here, it will slice that off. That could cause it big time. Most of the times when I've seen significant microphone crackling stuff, it's either one of two things. One, it's clipping, where your face is too close to the microphone or the microphone gain is turned up way too far, and so you can adjust that by turning the gain down a little bit right here. The second thing that causes it is just poor microphone cables, poor microphone connection. So anytime you move the microphone, it's going to crackle. And so those are the two most likely culprits: are a bad wire or bad connector somewhere in your microphone, or your gain is up way too high. Let's hit that microphone, or let's hit the Monica cam again and see what we got going on. Oh, traveling down the Danube.
Okay, this question is from Dean Stravel. It says, with a limited setup, can you set up your stream on one system and log in on another to monitor chat and alerts so you know when to respond without a capture card to pass through?
Sure. When I first started live streaming, what I would do is I would have, well, let me show you. I have this old iPad right here, and I would stream on my phone a lot of times, and it's really difficult to be able to see the chat or something like that. So I just use this. I'd log in, I'd turn the volume all the way down, obviously, because you don't want this audio coming from here from your live stream that's usually about 30 seconds behind feeding into your other audio. And then I could set it right here, and I could read the chat and all that kind of stuff while I was still paying attention. One of the hardest things, and that's one of the reasons why I love having Monica partnered on the show, is that not that I don't love to pay attention to the chat, but I really want to try to whip through and get to as many questions as I can. And if I'm reading the chat and responding to all that, well, it's a little distracting and it doesn't do you guys a lot of service if you come here and you want to get your questions answered and I'm too busy, you know, jibber-jabbering with the chat. So I do apologize that I don't talk to the chat as much as you should, but if you wanted to set it up, that's how I would do it on the cheap. Just get yourself a small iPad, or I've actually done it. I have a second, I think it's up there. Right up there. It's actually behind my... Let's go over to the tutorial screen here. If you look right up there, that's my other phone, and I've used that second phone connected to my Wi-Fi or something to log into the thing and do it. Or Monica's logged in on another machine over there doing it. So yeah, absolutely, you can use another machine to watch the chat if you like, and it makes it really easy. Let's see what we got here.
Question.
Ooh, chili.
Ooh. Luis Killer 2926 said, I need help on my YouTube videos on live stream.
Okay. Well, Luis, I hate to say it, but you're probably going to have to be a little more specific about what you actually need help from. Are you trying to play a pre-recorded video on your live stream? Are you not able to get your camera loaded up? Is your microphone not working? I need something just a little bit more specific, my friend, but I do appreciate your questions. Here we go.
Okay, I have one from Sharky Vanketon. Using an older Handycam connected by the yellow RCA connector, will this provide a good visual?
Yellow RCA connector. Let's see. So I think you're talking about the VGA connections, although you may be talking about like the RGB. If you have a card in your machine that will plug in and use that, then I don't see any reason why it won't. Is the resolution going to be great? Probably not, but it'll probably be better than webcam resolution, I would think. Some of those older, especially like S-video type stuff, that's still, I think, pretty decent resolution. It's not great, but you have to think about this. Always remember this, guys. Most of the folks that watch live content watch on a cell phone, So the most important aspect to your live stream should almost always be audio, because a lot of times people aren't really even paying attention to the visuals on the screen. I know some of them probably do for mine because I'm kind of live doing tutorials, but for the most part, depending upon what sort of content you're doing for your live stream, they're just listening like a podcast a lot of times. So just make sure your audio is as good as it can be, and then work on your imaging, because obviously the imaging is important, but literally lighting for your imaging will change everything. It's really the most important aspect of it, no matter what camera you're using. And these days, if you can use your phone as a webcam, I recently did a video on how to do that, or you can use your Gopro. It's another video that's going to be coming out soon as a webcam. It's a much better option than using your an actual webcam, which is just, I don't know. I never really cared for how they looked. But here's the other thing. Don't go out and buy a freaking GoPro to use it as a webcam. Trust me. $500 for a brand new GoPro 9 Hero Black is not a good investment for your money. You're better off getting yourself a less expensive DSLR with a cam link than you are the GoPro. If you have a GoPro already, or you want a GoPro because you're doing out of studio stuff, which is the reason why I bought it, then yes, use the GoPro. But don't buy a GoPro specifically to make it a webcam, because there's so many better and less expensive options than that. Let's go over here and see what else we got.
Question from Bradley Lucas. I started using Melon. Do you still use it much, and what do you think about it?
Right. Bradley, I do use Melon. I use Melon and StreamYard almost exclusively. And one of the reasons why is because I have a lot of communication with the guys from Melon. They talk to me about new features and new things, and I get to occasionally go in there, mess around, test those features, see how they're working, and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of fun to get kind of an inside look at what they're working on and what they're doing. And I got to be honest with you, all of that is because of the video that Melon and I created together that I released, and you guys commented so much on that video talking about what you wanted and what you wanted to see and what you liked about it and what you didn't like about it. And without that video, I wouldn't have such an amazing relationship with Melon, and Melon wouldn't have so much information about the kind of things that they should be working on. So I do use Melon for live streaming and adding guests and that sort of stuff, but also just to play around and help them to work out bugs and that sort of thing on their software with features and stuff. But also I use StreamYard as well. I think it's a pretty reliable construct for live streaming, and right now it probably has more features than anything else on the market, so it's a pretty good option. I think in the future that may not be the case, but right now StreamYard's a pretty good option just because they've got a little bit of a head start. Excuse me. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see.
We ready? Where are we now?
Looks like you're in a swarm of fireflies.
Ooh, beautiful. DJ Fernando G says, DJs are now using OBS for their live DJ sets on Twitch. Would you consider creating videos for DJs, and how can we use OBS for this purpose?
Okay, so one of the problems I have with this question is I don't know what sort of videos you would be wanting to create for DJs. Jelly says you're out of sync, honey. Sync it up. Sync it up, baby. I don't know what sort of videos. Would I consider creating videos for DJs? I mean, I guess it depends what they want and how much they are willing to pay. But it's not difficult to do. It's not impossible. I would possibly look into using something like Placeit, which there's a link in the description down below. It's what I use to create all of my intros and my outros and a lot of my overlays. Not this particular overlays, but other overlays. I use Placeit. Why spend 10 or 15 or 20 hours creating your own overlay when you can go there, pay a couple of bucks, and boom, you've got a really professional, awesome looking overlay or bumper screen or something like that. So an example is my countdown screen, my wait screen at the beginning, my branding bumper, my guest bumper, all that stuff I created in Placeit in a couple of minutes. So I suspect that I could do some stuff if some DJs out there wanted me to put together some stuff for them. Hit me up on Twitter or one of the links down below. I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. But check out Placeit too and see if it might suit your needs. Here we go. Let's jump over to this one.
At the beach. Nice. I like to be at the beach. Okay, Professor Mark Cashin asks, which would you recommend, Capture Card or Canon Webcam Utility Software?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Which would you recommend, a Capture Card or Canon Webcam Utility Software?
Okay. So in this particular case, I don't have any experience with the Canon Web Capture Utility Software. So I don't know how well it works with the Canon camera. One thing I do know that's different about the Sony camera and that sort of stuff that may not be the same for the Canon, but either way, One of the reasons why my audio and my video look good and sound perfect and it's never out of sync and there's never any question is because I use the audio input on my Sony camera. And if I was using Sony's web capture input, it comes from USB and it does not take the audio, which is the advantage to using the capture card, which takes the audio and video from the signal and transfers it in one. So there's much less likelihood that my audio and video are going to be out of sync, making one less thing that can fail or complicate things, if that makes any sense. So if Canon software will transport video and audio, I would definitely test it out. If Canon software does not transfer both video and audio, then I would probably recommend plugging the audio directly into the camera for your microphone and using a capture card, just because it's so much less complicated. It's less things you got to worry about. You don't have to worry about your audio and video being out of sync and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of my recommendation. I try to use integrated camera and camera audio with video at the same time, just because my live stream is complicated enough. I don't need to add one more thing where I'm trying to sync my own audio and that sort of stuff. So there's that. Yeah, Tech for Your Needs uses Fiverr for logos and intros, and that's another service. Absolutely, Tech for Your Needs. You can use that. I've done a video before on how I created my logo, my current logo, and everything that I use on Placeit by myself, using their templates. And it's not difficult, but you can definitely pay someone on Fiverr to do it. And if they provide you with all the files, then you can take those and you can go into Placeit and create animated intro and outro videos and everything else using those. Or you can create those directly on Placeit. So yeah, Fiverr's awesome. You can, but you know, here's the thing. Just keep in mind, you could pay somebody $5 that can make the most epic logo ever. Or you could pay someone $5 and it could basically be just horrible garbage. So just keep that in mind. You never know what you're going to get. You never know. But if you use someone over and over again, there's a good chance you're going to get... does Melon app have two people only? Jelly, Melon has up to 10 people that you can add live. As far as I'm aware. As far as I'm aware. Let's pop over to the question can.
Question. Janessa Aerial Filming it's a two-part question. What equipment is an absolute must for a streaming video or streaming studio? And then her second question is, what equipment is nice to have but not essential?
All right, so I did a video not too long ago on must-have equipment for a live stream. Now, if you're talking about a full studio setup, that's a little bit different, but all you need, or all I would recommend that you absolutely have to have, is your cell phone and your, honestly, your cell phone and a external microphone that plugs into your cell phone so that you can get good audio. You can literally have amazing live streams with just that. If you are going to start to build a long-term relationship with live streaming where you're going to do it more on a professional level, then the first thing that you're going to want to add to your cell phone and your microphone is probably a better microphone. Like I said, most people who partake in live streams do a lot more listening than watching. Having the best audio that you can is good. I use a shotgun microphone because I do not like to have my microphones in my shot, but a lot of people don't mind. In fact, most people that live stream have the microphone sitting right here and they're talking right into it. Those are called condenser mics. There's a lot of inexpensive ones out there. It's the first thing that you should upgrade. After you upgrade that, you're still not getting to your camera just yet. You can use your cell phone. I would get lights. Lighting makes all the difference. You can make a fantastic, or you can make a really bad camera look pretty good with the right lights, and they're not that expensive. In other words, you could spend $700 or $800 on a new camera, and it will still look horrible if you didn't invest in lights. So the second thing after a microphone I would do is get yourself a good set of lights. Probably a set of 3. So you've got a light here, you've got a light there, you got a light here, you got maybe some lights behind you. Make sure that you look on camera the way that you want to look, And then once you get that dialed in, if you want to go ahead and update your camera, that should be one of the last things. And then after you get past that, then we're just talking about nice to have things like the Loupedeck and the LED lighting that you put behind you and things like that, and the overlays and all that sort of stuff. But you know, the first things you want to tackle are sound, and then lighting, and then camera. And if you get there, you'll be in good shape. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's go on to the next one. I think we're backed up.
We are backed up. You did get another donation.
Oh, I did.
Yes, you did.
Well, let's pop over to the main screen and play that. Because, ooh, look at that. My goodness. Wow, Scott C. Parker, $20. Thank you so much, Scott. I've been creating OBS how-to videos for teachers. Your videos have been very helpful. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that, Scott. Holy moly. That is amazing. There we go. Go ahead, baby.
Okay, it's me. Okay. Professor Markashin asks, could you, I think this is more of a suggestion, could you do a video on tidying up YouTube channels, such like playlist settings, etc., and how to put in all your cool stuff, like suggested information, timestamping, link videos, etc.?
Ooh, okay.
You like that idea?
I do. That's a really cool idea. I will I'll put something together that shows you how to timestamp videos, how to set up playlists, how to create different playlists. Believe it or not, if you have your playlists set up properly so that they make sense, it gives YouTube a lot more opportunity to suggest those playlists. And every time that someone kind of starts to go through your playlist, it's good for you. And the more people that find those playlists and start to go through them, a better life is for you. So definitely we'll set that up. I may have some relatively comprehensive information on those particular topics, although not time-stamping your videos, but playlists and that sort of stuff. If you go back and look at my older content about the basics of growing a YouTube channel and things like that, you may be able to find something like that. But I do think there are so many new features that it is time to update that. So I'll definitely do that. Thank you so much for the suggestion.
Next one comes from Sharky Vanketin asking, would you prefer OBS or Streamlabs?
All right, Sharky. I have used both. I definitely prefer OBS, and the reason why I prefer OBS is because it just takes up a lot less clock cycles. It uses less CPU to use OBS. And that's not to say that Streamlabs OBS isn't an absolutely awesome product. It totally is. But I've always tried to get the most out of older machines as I possibly could, and I found that a lot of my older machines had a lot of difficulty running Streamlabs, so I just never used it. I used OBS instead. Now that I have a really good machine, I could probably go and use Streamlabs OBS, but I'm so familiar with using regular OBS that I just don't see the purpose. So if you struggle to produce content that you know, you're getting lag, you're getting audio problems, you're getting out of sync stuff, you know, that sort of stuff, if your computer is struggling to produce your content, switch to OBS from Streamlabs, and you'll kind of get it's a little bit easier for your computer to process. But if you have the machine to do it, then Streamlabs is a great option for sure. Hopefully that answers your question. And let's go to the next. On to the next.
Next question comes from Black Fatherhood asking, hey, is there a workaround for OBS not accepting NDI plugins for OS Mojave and later, possibly another program? And then a follow-up saying, I just use my second laptop to monitor.
Okay, so you're having problems with Mojave and later not using the virtual monitor for the NDI plugin. The thing is I put that in the video. I probably never should because it's not something that you necessarily need to install. I always monitor everything I'm doing directly in OBS. You don't need the second one. The second monitor is just nice to have because it lets you know what the NDI signal is receiving. But other than that, all it's really doing is rendering another piece of video on your machine. And introducing another source of possible echo and audio problems. So I never use that virtual monitor anyways. So for me, I would just remove the virtual monitor, do everything in OBS and not worry about it. But it sounds like your solution is pretty decent. I didn't even know, to be honest with you, that when you updated Mac, it didn't work. Because I've only ever really used it once or twice in order to just see that I was getting the right stuff. So if you really have to have that monitor, then it sounds like you found a solution that will work for you. But otherwise, you don't really need it. You can just get everything that you need directly from the visuals that are provided from the preview in OBS. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. What we got here? Here we go.
This is another possible suggestion, I think. This one comes from Ace, saying, do you think Magician Michael will reveal how he does the creepy jumping at the camera effect he does at the beginning of his videos lately?
Oh man. Oh man. I can't tell you how many people have asked me this question. I think it's so fun that such a simple thing can be something that people like. In fact, when I first started opening my videos like that, I had one guy tell me, stop doing that, it's creepy. And I'm like, man, that's the coolest thing I've ever done. Sorry, but I'm not stopping that. So essentially, and let me take the headphones out so I can show you. Essentially, if you see me, I'm perfectly in focus right here, right? Well, watch this. All right, so basically that's what's called depth of field. My camera is set to focus on a range from about here, and even that's a little out of focus, from right here. God damn, I'm wrinkly, sorry. From right about here to right about here. So anytime I get out of that focus range, it gets that blur effect. Well, all I do is put a speed ramp on that and then shake the camera a little bit when it's done and add some sound effects. And it's really that easy. It's really that easy, guys. So you speed it up a little bit, you shake the camera a little bit, and you've got everything you need. Everything you need. Hopefully, if I need to do a more comprehensive tutorial than that, I suppose I could. But hey, Jelly, thank you so much. For those of you who don't know, Jelly has been a longtime supporter of my channel. He is from Kuwait. It's probably really, really late. Thank you so much for coming by, Jelly. I love you, my friend. Thank you. Let's go over to our Monica webcam and see what's up.
Let's see. This is from Dimple Poji. Says, sorry if this has been asked, but what live stream program are you using now?
I'm using OBS. OBS is what I love to use. I use it in conjunction with all kinds of other applications depending upon my needs. Like I said, I'll use Melon or StreamYard for adding guests and that sort of stuff. But for the most part, my main application is OBS Studio. Let's go back to Monica, the wonderful, amazing, beautiful sandwich maker that makes my life great.
Gemma is actually asking some questions. She wants to know if you can help her with a banner, and also what's another way she can get people interested in her topic.
Well, Gamma, I can help you with a banner, but there's a link in the description to place it, which has a banner maker that can create banners for your YouTube channel. Does an absolutely amazing job. Holy mackerel. Jim, thank you so much. Jim says, Merry Christmas, Michael and Monica. Thanks for everything. Thank you so much, Jim. I really do appreciate that. I really do. Okay, so Gemma, you can do it on Place It, and it's a really cool, easy way to set it up. If you want to check it out, there are links in the description. Otherwise, certainly I can help you do your banner. But also, in order to get people more interested in your topic, here's the long and short of it. The easiest way to get people more interested in your topic is to make sure that your videos are good enough so that make sure your channel is set up so YouTube knows who you're trying to reach. That's step one. Step two, make videos that are competitive and interesting to the point where they're competitive with the other people making videos about your topic. Because if your videos aren't as good as the other people making videos about your topic, YouTube's not going to share them with anything. So first, YouTube has to know who your videos are for. Secondly, your videos have to be as good or better than the people that you're trying to compete with creating those videos. Once you do that, you don't have to worry about getting more people interested in your topic. Trust me, every topic out there that you could ever do videos for, there are plenty of people out there that want to see those videos. But YouTube has to decide that those videos are relevant and worthy for it to show to those people. So if YouTube is not sharing your content with the audience that is, so if YouTube's not sharing your content with the audience that wants to see your videos, that's for two reasons. One, YouTube doesn't know who your content is for, and this could be because you did sub for sub, and you ended up with a lot of subscribers that aren't actually people who enjoy your content. They're just people that subscribe to you because you subscribe to them. And so YouTube has no way to know who those viewers are actually for, what they want to watch. Or two, you could have been just live streaming to everybody and not sticking to a specific topic. So YouTube has a bundle of people in your channel that are subscribed, but it doesn't know who or what those people actually want to see. So YouTube doesn't know how to classify your content. So when you do it, YouTube doesn't know who to share it with. And those would be the reasons. Or three, your content's just not competitive with the other people making content about your specific subject. And if your content's not good enough to, and by good enough, I mean, one, has to have a high click-through rate, meaning your thumbnail has to be something that attracts people's eyeballs to click on it. Two, your title has to be clickable, meaning meaning that when people see your thumbnail, they're saying, what's this video about? And then they click on your thumbnail to go watch the video because your title is interesting to them. And then three, the video has to be good enough to keep people's attention for longer than the other videos that are already ranked in that subject matter. And if you do all three of those things, you're going to be successful, and YouTube will find your audience for you. So if you're not getting that, those are the places to start. Let's see. Besides Placeit, what others have you tried? Canva, Envato Elements, Cantro, etc. Actually, there are links to Envato Elements below. I use Envato Elements all the time for B-roll and music and things like that. I highly recommend Envato Elements. Envato Placeit is another product that's related to the same company, and they're both awesome products. I've used Canva before. If I need to make a thumbnail and I'm on my cell phone, okay, maybe. Cantro I don't have a lot of experience with, Scott. So thank you for asking the question, though. Let's pop over and you don't need to write.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We have one from Warship 570. How do you do the viewer count?
Hello. Are you talking about this viewer count right here? I will show you that. Okay. Let's see. Let's go over to the tutorial. I love this one because this is like a question that I can answer. All right, so we have my screen here. We're going to bring this up. I'm going to go over here. We're going to go into Streamlabs. Bloop, 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 and we're going to log in. Matt Heafy. He's the man, dude. I'm just telling you right now. I'm going to log in.
Parker wants to know how late you're going. He has to go play Fortnite with his son.
Oh. I don't know. I always like to make sure that I answer all of the questions that come in. So as soon as we get through all the questions, let's see. Two left. So we're getting there. We're getting there. All right. So then I go into all widgets. I go into blip, blip, blah. Let's see, subscribers, memberships, spin wheel, top, blah, blah. Stream labels, media share, viewer count, right here. That's the one. That's the one. Okay, so you could do that. If you stream to multiple platforms, you can set it up to show whatever platforms you want. Once you have it set up the way you want with your color, you can copy it right here. Then you go into your live stream. I go to plus. I go to browser. And then I would put in here viewer count, V-I-E-E-W, count, boom, bam. Look at that. And then I'm going to go ahead and Control V to paste that link in that I just copied out of there. If I wanted to make it by 1080, and by the way, if you and then I click OK, and boom, there's my view count. I can move it all around, put it wherever I look at that right there, wherever I want. I can make it bigger, I can make it bigger or smaller, however, wherever I want. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's move on to the next one right now.
Okay,
Here we go.
We Enjoy Every Day asks, do you have any suggestions for budget DSLRs that can increase both streaming video quality and general video recording?
Okay. Hold on, wait. I got my mouse here somewhere. All right. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I personally love the Sony series. So if you wanted to get a reasonably inexpensive camera that has the things that my camera has, which is an audio input and the outputs for, I believe, you'll check. I want you to check, verify this, trust but verify. The Sony A6400, I believe, has an audio input and the output jack for the HDMI and the output jack for the USB, which means that you could use it without a capture card if you wanted to. You can use it with a capture card, and you can use it with a third-party external mic, and it'll process all that stuff. And the A6400, I believe, you can get used for around $400 or $500, which, trust me, it's one step below the camera that I'm using now, and essentially the internals are almost identical. You wouldn't even notice the difference. It does 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second, and it does 4K, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think it does 4K at 24 or 30 frames per second, which, what else could you possibly need? You get yourself a cheap kit lens or two, and you add on from there. The only drawback really I ever have to using my Sony camera out in the wild is it does not have internal stabilization, but you got to pay a lot more for a camera that does. You can get lens stabilization in here, so I'll use it like an OSS lens, but I find I just get seasick trying to watch it and mess with that video. I'll just use my GoPro in that particular case. But this camera, the 6500 is what I use. The 6400 has almost exactly the same stuff that this one does, and I highly recommend it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Did we get another donation that I missed? Let me take a look just to be sure. This is Jim Morales. Okay, yeah, Jim was the last one. Thank you, Jim. Let's go over to Monica here. You cannot delete it on OBS. You can, however, delete a video. Let me see if I can get to a point. All right, so let's go in here. I'm going to show you now. Here is my YouTube channel. You can see I am in my live right here. My normal uploads are right here. My live uploads are right here. Let's say that I wanted to delete this video. Now, it's not private. It's unlisted, but it doesn't really matter. All I have to do is I could go here, and I can delete forever right here by clicking these three little dots right here, and then delete forever. Or I could select it over here, and I could go up to more actions and delete forever right there. Okay, so I could delete any one of these just by doing that. You can't delete it in OBS. OBS will just create the videos in YouTube. Once the video is created, OBS has no control over that. You have to go into YouTube to be able to delete or edit or any of that sort of stuff. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's go to the next one.
They're saying there's no audio.
All right, how's that? We got audio
Is that better? Is that? Oh, now I'm frozen. Oh. Is that any better?
Hello? What do we got? We got Monica audio
I
yet?
know. Did we lose anything? There we go. Okay, thank you, Frail Gaming. Okay, this one is from Sharky Vankerton saying, have you ever made a complete video one-on-one from absolutely streaming startup to a first streaming production for a sports event with use of a second camera for an interview? And if not, will you be making one soon?
Wow, that is a big ask. So essentially, I think you're asking, have I ever put together a live production for a sporting event? And the reliable answer to that is no. With that being said, you could do it. You could easily do it using a regular camera like the one I have here as your main camera. Like, let's say I wanted to film a swimming event. I can use this camera right here as my main camera to be showing on the, on the court or the swimming thing or whatever. And then as the athletes are finished, they can come up and I can do a scene change to a second camera and interview them on that camera and switch back and forth. That certainly is something you can do. You can do it easily. You could even do it with a second camera as a cell phone if you wanted to with OBS Ninja or something like that. If you're interested in seeing how to use your camera as a cell phone, I just did a video on it this week. So you could use that as your second camera. As long as you're on a Wi-Fi network, you should be able to do something like that. Or you could just use a webcam or something like that. Obviously, if you're going to do that, the second camera has to be pretty close to the first camera. So just keep that in mind. That's why something like the OBS Ninja solution is maybe the best solution that you can use for something like that. You just, change scenes and you're already interviewing your guest and you change back to the other scene and you're on to the broadcast. You can even have people doing commentary, which just talk all over exactly whatever it is that you're doing. Let's switch over to see if Monica has any more questions.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. There are no more questions in queue.
Woohoo! Well, that means that we're going to get to our Loupedeck Live giveaway. I know that's what a lot of you have been waiting for, but I do appreciate all of the awesome super chats and donations and wonderful kind words. Hopefully, if you had a question about live streaming, you asked it and I answered it. And if you didn't get a chance to ask a question tonight, hopefully you can ask it soon. Now, I'm giving away 2 of these. They were very, very kindly provided by Loupedeck, and I really do appreciate it. They've been so amazingly supportive of my channel, and I can't thank them enough. And it is an honor and a pleasure to be able to give away 2 of these. Now, I am too much of a baby to pick out from all of the amazing responses that I got to the video on my channel. I can't choose. I'm not choosing. This is going to be completely chosen at random from the comments. And once it's chosen, I'm going to go to that channel later tonight, and hopefully in their About page, they're going to have the information that I can contact them to let them know that they won. If they do not have any information about how to contact them, I will actually contact them through the comment that they made on this video so that they can provide me with their email address. Now, you do not need to be here to win, and you also don't need to be worried about providing your email address in the comment. because all of my comments are set up to basically go to review if you put a link in there. And an email address is a link. So your email address will obviously never be seen by the regular things. So if I leave a comment asking you for your email address because you won, make sure that you send me your email address and we will get in touch and you will get your Loupedeck as soon as humanly possible. So let's go ahead and pick one of these. I'm going to go over here to the tutorial screen and I'm going to go, let's see, where is it? Excuse me. Coffee. So as you can see here, I'm using TubeBuddy to pick a winner. I have my video selected and we're running a contest on this video. All I have to do is click a button and it's going to pick at random a comment and that person is going to win. So we are going to do this one right here. We're going to pick a winner. Woohoo! Ray Smith. The winner is Ray Smith. So Ray Smith gets the first one. I'm going to write Ray's name on here. Excuse me. I need something to drink. Ray doesn't want it. Yeah. Ray's actually in here. Ray, do me a favor. Message me directly on Twitter if you can with your email address. That'll be the easiest way. That's awesome, Ray. I'm so glad you're here. I have some soda here. Okay. All right. Now we just have this one right here. Woohoo! I'm so excited that you were here, Ray. That's awesome. Here we go. Here we go. Pick another winner. Ardith Colony. Conley? Ardith Conley. I'm going to write that right on here. Is Ardith here? Conley. All right, Ardith, you are the second winner of the friggin' Loupedeck, which is sweet. Congratulations to both of you. I'm so excited that at least one of you guys was here. I was so afraid that no one would be here. Well, congratulations, Ardith. I will be contacting you from your About page or through the comment. Man, epic. So, guys, I wish I had 100 of these to give away. They're really, really high quality. I absolutely love them. And let me go back to my main overlay here. Oh, they're really high quality. I absolutely love them. They're just fantastic. Here's the thing. I would love it if you guys would go through the comments and do what I'm gonna do. There are a lot of people who asked for one of these because they need them, or they're educators, or they're this, or they're that. I'm personally going to pick a comment on my own and contact that person, and I'm going to send one to them. And I'm hopeful that you guys, those who have the means, might consider doing something nice for one of these people who may really need one of these. Go through the comments, find someone that you feel really needs it, contact them, and send it to them. The links are in the description if you would like to check it out for yourself. There's definitely value in it. I can tell you that. I just absolutely love it. But it is the holiday season. We can all try to do something nice for someone we don't know or someone else. I'm going to, and I certainly hope that you guys find a way to do that as well. If anything, it makes you feel pretty good. So I want to just say this will probably be my last live stream for someone, or this will be my last live stream for the season. And holy mackerel, has it been an amazing one. I'm so excited that so many of you decided to come out and say hi and hang out. Even if it was just for a chance to win. I'm hopeful it wasn't just to have a chance to win the Loupedeck. I hope it was just to have a chance to ask questions, interact, have fun, and enjoy everyone's company. But I do appreciate it either way. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, guys. I'll probably start live streaming again on the regular after the beginning of the new year. So hopefully we can see you guys again. This is definitely not going to be the last giveaway I do. In fact, I'm working on another really cool giveaway for this product right here. And I didn't actually talk about it at all tonight, but let me go over here to my tutorial view right here. It's called Speedify. And you can see right here, it is basically a software that combines my Ethernet cable and my cellular cable to guarantee that my live stream is never going to go down. Now, if you run a business or you do live streaming or you do anything where you need your connection to absolutely work 100% of the time, every time, so it never goes down, like because you have students on the other end of the line or something like that, then you need to check out Speedify. There are links in the description, and you can see just in the course of this broadcast right here, we've been saved from excessive lag or latency or packet loss 51 times, connection failover 31 times, which means that if my connection drops below a certain threshold, Speedify automatically saves me from going down or losing the broadcast. And I know you guys probably watch other live streams, so you've seen it happen all the time. So make sure that if guaranteeing your live stream's quality is something that's important to you, make sure you do yourself a favor and go ahead and check out, check it out. Check it out. I highly recommend it. It's really some awesome stuff. And I see so many kind words in there. Let me pop to Monica so she can say something before we log off. But thank you guys so much.
Hey guys, I just want to say thank you so much for everything and have a happy holiday and a great new year. I appreciate you spending the time with us tonight and all the questions. Michael loves answering your questions, and I enjoy being the moderator too, so it's a lot of fun for both of us. So next time you see his live, come on over. We'll be here. We'll be answering some more of your questions. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and have a happy holiday.
Thank you, honey. You're the best. T-Mad TV does ask a question, what's the best alternative for the Stream Deck? And the best alternative for the Stream Deck is absolutely the Loupedeck. In fact, I don't look at it as even like an alternative. Stream Deck is like... Stream Deck is like a Walkman, depending upon how old you are, where, you know, you can put a cassette deck in it and close it up and you can hear that music, but every time you want to switch it, you gotta... Loupedeck has it all built right in. You know, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. So, oh my goodness. Hey, new subscriber, Major Blood. Thank you so much. Loupedeck is like all of that built all into one. So it's really super cool. And, man, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. I'll see you next year, though. We got some really cool stuff planned. If you're interested in possible cars, I'm working on another channel. It's kind of already out there, but I have a bunch of new content ready to go for this channel. If you're interested in cars or anything like that, there is a link in my main page, I think, to this other channel. It's called For the Love of Cars. If you want to check it out, check it out. Thank you guys so much for all of the donations and kind words tonight. It's been absolutely amazing. Congratulations to our two winners. We've got Ardith Connolly and, of course, Ray Smith. Make sure that if you saw this live stream, you hit me up on Twitter or you message me in some way. Otherwise, I will be trying to contact you through the comment or through your About page on your YouTube channel. Either way, we will get these out to you as soon as possible. Congratulations. Thank you guys so much for watching. We only get one go around. It's been a really horrible year for a lot of people. If there's any good that you can do for someone who needs it, it's going to make you feel a lot better. There are those without means and there are those with means. And if you have the means, try to find somebody else and do something nice for them, because, man, life sucks hard enough already for you know, it seems like the world is trying to beat us up right now. And if we have the means to do something nice for someone else to make them feel like the world is less of an assault on their humanity, let's try to do that. It'll make you feel good. It'll make the world a better place. Thank you so much, guys. I do appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. Until the next time, wow, it's just too much. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.